Good evening and welcome to another session of Mom Focus. We are grateful to God for all of you who have joined us this evening despite your busy schedule, children's exams, and all the other activities going on. This day we have a very special topic, yet often neglected. The topic is importance of academics for children. No, it is importance of play for children. And we have Mrs. Sajitha Chacko with us to help us lead the discussion. For those who are joining us for the first time, Mom Focus is an online initiative catering the journey of young mothers, and we are very grateful to God for sustaining us all these years in this ministry. Now we will have a word of prayer and we will have a song before we go into the main session.
Hello everyone. Today we are going to sing the Salvation poem. Jesus, you died upon the cross and rose again to save the lost. Forgive me now of all my sin. Come be my Savior, Lord and friend. Change my life and make it new, and help me, Lord, to live for you. Change my life and make it new, and help me, Lord, to live for you. Jesus, you died upon the cross and rose again to save the lost. Forgive me now of all my sin. Come be my Savior, Lord and friend. Change my life and make it new, and help me, Lord, to live for you. Change my life and make it new, and help me, Lord, to live for you. Change my life and make it new. Help me, Lord, to live for you. Change my life and make it new. Want to make it new, and help me, Lord, to live for you.
Thank you, children, for that wonderful song. Let me now introduce the speaker to you this afternoon. When we thought of this topic, we could think of none other than Sajitha Chacko to help us with this discussion because she is an expert in the field. Sajitha Chacko originally hails from Kerala, India, and she began her career as an engineer, spending over a decade in the corporate world before transitioning into counseling. She pursued a specialized training in the United States and is now a certified psychotherapist with expertise in family and marriage therapy. Her credentials include certifications in trauma therapy, in play therapy for children, and in international school counseling and marriage and premarital counseling. Currently, Sajda works with a diverse global clientele addressing a wide range of mental health concerns. She is also a faculty member of the Urban India Ministry's Family Research Training Institute. She is contributing greatly to the postgraduate education program in psychotherapy. She's married for 21 years and she and her husband are blessed with two wonderful boys and they serve the Lord in many capacities. It is our joy and honor to have you with us, Sajda ma'am. So I hand over the session to you.
Once again, I have to start with this disclaimer that I'm not a perfect parent and I was not perfect in the way when I handled the play situations with my children. Many times when I teach and keep learning more and more, There are times when I regret a lot, and I wish I knew this earlier kind of feeling, So don't think that, okay, here is somebody who did it all perfectly and family is perfect is coming to teach us. So whatever I am learning in my journey, I'm just sharing with you. So let's keep that context very clear there. Play is something that we all know, we all have done, we all talk about, but we don't pay much deep attention to it. That is the kind of topic here. Especially as Christians, I don't think that we talk about this a lot. We talk about teaching Bible, we talk about praying, we talk about worship and all those things. And if any children are playing in the church, probably the said or answered message is to take them out and don't do this kind of. So play is kind of discouraged in that sense. But I'm glad to come back and talk on this topic of play. So we all grew up playing. We played the games that are familiar in our culture. In our context, when we grew up, whatever was the common play, we played that. Maybe at the beginning of this time, I would like to ask you, like, can you think of a time when you played as a child? Just think about one good childhood memory that you have and the game that you played. Maybe it's a good time to think about it. Yeah, good. That's good. That's good. And maybe you could also think about, I know these are all adults who have joined here. Can you think about when was the recent last time that you played something? Or did you really say goodbye to this whole play the moment you left your childhood? Right? I wonder, it's time for you to think about. Just maybe as a teacher, I leave it as a homework for both of you. Think of a time when you played as a child and think of the time when was the last time that I played. If it was not any time recent, it's a challenge that I'm giving you in the very beginning itself. Find some good opportunities to play. Play with your friends, play with your family, play with your husband, wife, play with your children. There are really good things that you could play. And we shouldn't think that play is just for children. Anyway, I'm glad that I am more and more intentionally playing these days. I am so busy, but still we try to find some time as a family. This week, almost every day we played at least a card game as a family in the evening after dinner before we go to bed. Even if it's just 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something to just play and have fun and build together as a family. It's a great investment that we can give in our family. And don't think that play is only for children. Play is for children as well as for adults. The difference is that it is more natural for children. As adults, we have to put effort many times to play, but it is very natural for our children. Dr. Gary Landreth, who is a very famous play therapist, he has studied intensively on the importance of play in the healthy development of children. And this is his statement. He says, birds fly, fish swim, and children play. That is his famous quotation. So you understand from that what we mean to say. It is the natural place. It is, you don't have to teach a bird to fly or a fish to swim. It is their natural habitat. And that is what is play for children. And when we look around, play is the singular central activity of childhood, occurring at all times in all places. You go to any parts of the world, you will see that play is something so common. It is not something limited to east or west, rich or poor. In whatever ways people would find ways to play, children would find ways to play. Children do not need to be taught to play, nor must be made to play. Play is spontaneous, play is usually enjoyable, play is voluntary, play is not goal-directed, play just comes naturally to children. And it has been well researched on this universal importance of play to the natural development and wholeness of children. And that is the reason why even United Nations have made the declaration or underscored play as a universal right of childhood. Many times we don't think that way, right? That it is a universal right of childhood that you cannot take it away from a child. And it is declared as Article 31 in the UN proclamation that it is a right of the child to rest and leisure. It is a right of the child to engage in play. So it is such an important, well-researched topic that play is an essential thing that is needed for a healthy child development. As I said earlier, play is so much a part of the lives of human beings that we often fail to reflect the importance of that, the meaning of that, what it really means for human development. We fail to pause and think about it. And this is a good opportunity that this next 1 hour that we have together, this is where we are going to dig a little bit deeper. Is play just fun? Is play just something that children waste time? Or is there something more to it than fun? Is something that we are going to focus. Now, as we talk about the child development and the importance of play, I am forced to touch at least one developmental theory. I'm not trying to take you any class here, but I have to share this because then only we will understand why play is so important. Because children have to be approached and understood from their developmental perspective. Children are not mini adults. That is what many times the mistake that we do. Now we think they are weighing less, their height is less, or they are just miniature human beings. That is not true. They are not. The way their brain is functioning is different. The way their muscles are functioning is different. The way they are thinking, the way they are handling emotions, the way they handle relationships, everything is different for children. So it's not that adults and children are same, but it's just the size difference kind of thing. That is not what it is. There is a developmental process that is happening in the life of a human being. And the world of a human being, a child, is one of concrete realities. So let me just touch base for clarity. What is concrete and what is abstract? According to dictionary, concrete concepts means anything that are tangible, that you can perceive through the senses. Something that you can touch, something that you can see, something that you can hear, that something that can be perceived through senses is what we call as concrete. That is a concrete reality. And on the other hand, abstract concepts means ideas or theories that cannot be physically touched, but can be processed differently. Example would be an object. Okay, a stone is a concrete reality, but an emotion, a philosophy, a theory, those are abstract concepts. You cannot touch it or see it or use your senses to get it. So that's just the basics on the dictionary level. Now, in terms of thinking, concrete thinking focuses on specific factual details, while abstract thinking goes for higher level reasoning. Your creativity is needed, complex ideas and relationships between multiple concepts are there. That is where abstract thinking comes in. Now, as I said, in the developmental stages of children, there are 4 stages. Okay, as you can see in the picture here, there are 4 stages, and the first one from 0 to 2 years. These are roughly this age and month is slightly differs for children, but this is the average or the rough state. The first one, in the first stage, what you can see is that the infant develops basic motor skills and learn to perceive and interact with their environment through physical sensations. So in the very beginning stage, the child sees something as good and bad is based on the sensations, which means if I touch something and if it's comfortable, it is good. And when they touch the cloth and it is irritating to their body, it is bad. So it is the body sensations and body movements through which they perceive and interact with the environment. If the diaper is dirty and uncomfortable for them, they start crying. And the diaper is clean now, and then they're happy sleeping. So it is the body sensations and body movements it's basically through physical sensations that they are interacting with the environment, primarily in the very beginning stage. Now, after the child becomes a toddler, the capacity to process things keeps developing. And the child can process things symbolically. So, for example, the child can call themselves as I'm the police here, or I am the villain here, kind of. I am daddy today, kind of thing. I'm mommy today. Or those kind of symbolic presentations are possible as the child moves to the second stage. Okay. In the very first stage, that's not possible. Now, the third stage, what happens is more concrete thinking happens. So they can understand, if I give 2 glasses of water, they can look at it and say that which glass has more water and which glass has less water, or which is heavy and which is lighter. So what more concrete level of functioning or processing happens in the third stage, which is the concrete operational stage. And in the final stage, which we call as the formal operation stage, that's the stage in which abstract thinking is possible. That's the stage in which abstract thinking is possible. Now, if you noticed, in the first 3 stages, which is almost until 12 years, the abstract thinking capacity is not fully developed. So which means if you teach them 3 topics, their capacity to connect all the 3 topics and come up with a new conclusion, it is not fully developed. Some children may be smart and can be achieving that at an age 9, 10 kind of thing. But generally, it's only by the age 12 they come to that abstract thinking capacity. So applying one theory over another, all of those things are part of the abstract thinking. Now, why did we say these things is that children cannot communicate or process things through rational explanations, emotional understanding, or in the abstract way that adults are doing. So which means you are trying to tell them something, they cannot expect that children would read between the lines. They cannot understand that way. Okay, unless we specifically directly say something to them, they cannot read between the lines. They're very straightforward. But adults have moved to the abstract realm and can express through verbalization. So, for example, if I had a bad day today with somebody and that has affected my mood, and if I have to communicate that clearly to somebody that this incident has happened and that has shifted my thinking, that has affected my perspective in the way I processed, and that has created some kind of disappointment in me, and that is affecting the way I am presenting my presentation today, all of this needed my verbalization capacity. Put these things together and bring it out as a coherent message. It needed my capacity to put it together and verbalize that. Children don't have that capacity. Yeah, they haven't fully developed to that. Now, that is where we need their natural language, which is play. Play is the natural language of children. English or Malayalam or Kannada is not their natural first-hand language to put things coherently in a language. Now, having understood this thing about concrete versus abstract and how children are developing over these 4 stages, now we will look at the benefits of play or the importance of play. Now, the first thing that I would like to say as the benefit of play is something to do with the language and communication. Play facilitates the capacity of the child to develop their language, and play facilitates communication. Why? Because it's their language. Play is the language of the child, and it allows the child to speak to us without words. When their language is not fully developed, they are using play to communicate. And there are 2 kinds of communication generally for any human beings. The first one is called unconscious communication. The second one is conscious communication. Unconscious is that you are not aware of it, but you're communicating that. Many of us happens that I'm so upset and angry, and I must myself not aware that I'm angry and doing this, but everyone around me can notice that I'm leaking out my anger on everyone, kind of. You get it? So that is the unconscious communication that is happening. Now, children play out their unconscious material without direct awareness of it. So the thoughts that they have, the feelings that they have, the issues that they are going through, which they themselves are not aware of, what they do is it comes out through play. So what they do is they project their feelings onto miniature figures or puppets or that toy or this doll. They project whatever that is inside onto the play. Example would be like a child who is afraid of the dark would not probably put it out together that when I watched that movie there was something bad happened, and it happened when it was the light was turned off, so that is why I do not want to go into the dark room and sleep alone in the night. So child cannot put it all together and communicate that. So instead, generally what a child would do is that when they're playing with the baby dolls, the baby, oh, the baby doll is really afraid of monsters and doesn't like when the light is off. The child herself or himself is not aware that they are speaking out what is there inside them. So they use play to communicate the thoughts and the feelings that are there inside them. And not only the unconscious materials, even the conscious, whatever they are aware of also. Suppose they are upset or maybe like a positive feeling. They really like pizza. And it naturally comes out in play that they may be playing with a character and saying that, oh, Johnny is having dinner. He is having pizza today. So what they're saying is all about their likes again and again. Anytime there is a meal thing going on in their play, their favorite foods come there. Or something they don't like. Today, mama prepared broccoli and the baby doesn't like it. He is spitting it out. Okay. So whatever they wanted to speak, they are playing it out often. What they are aware of and they are not aware of, both comes out through play. Now, one of the features that facilitates this kind of communication is because play is the natural language of children. It is the God-given gift for children. That's the natural language with which they are born. And so, as I said, since they don't have the vocabulary, since they don't have the abstract cognitive thinking capacity, that ability, since they cannot put out their inner world verbally through a language, play is the natural language for our children. And if we are not giving that opportunity for our children, basically it's as good as we are not allowed to talk at all. How would it be for each one of us if somebody puts a sellotape on our mouth and say you cannot communicate at all? That is exactly what we are doing to our children when we are not allowing them to play. So one, play is the natural language of the children. The second thing is that play helps them to talk in the third person. Play helps them. See, especially when things are heavy, children get easily overwhelmed and they cannot tolerate that much. They don't have the capacity to tolerate that much of emotions. So play helps them to create that cushioning effect. That psychic distance is what we would say, that distance, so that they can communicate what they want to communicate, but it's still not coming in a first person perspective. They are not saying that, for example, somebody abused a child. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, the child will not come and say that I'm abused. You know what the child will do? They will have all kinds of play themes where they will be acting it out that somebody is abusing someone else. Okay, so that gives them that emotional protection. That is a coping mechanism God has given to those children so that they can still survive and bring it out of their mind. So that help gives that cushioning effect. And another words is that, as you have heard, is that a picture is more than 1,000 words. We often say the same way. One acting out kind of communicates something that we could otherwise speak for a 30-minute talk. So what cannot be put together, what cannot be described easily, or what it cannot be indescribable, what is too emotional, what is overwhelming, can come out easily through the process of play. So it could be through a drawing, it could be through a dancing action, it could be through a imagery that they made in the clay. It could be anything that play gives them that opportunity. Okay? So basically, through all this, what I'm saying is that play facilitates communication to the children who are not verbally equipped at this point for communication. Yeah. So not only it facilitates communication, it helps in the overall language development. So as they keep communicating, it increases their confidence, it increases their skills in expressing. So initially it could be through drawing, initially it could be through acting out, it could be through a doll, but slowly they have the confidence to bring out the things. And also it gives them the ability to speak and listen in a range of situations. The words that they hear, oh, this is puppy, this is doggy, this is the lioness, this is broccoli, and whatever they are playing out, they are actually capturing the vocabulary as well. So that helps in the language development of our children. And what I have noticed is that as we come into this modern age with both the parents working and not having somebody at home to talk to the children, and it has affected the language development capacity of many children. Recently, even I heard about one family where both husband and wife goes for work. Committed family, good Christian family. However, husband and wife are really busy. They have a maid who is living at home and taking care of the child. But what happened is this maid is full-time busy working, cleaning, cooking, and all of those things. The child sits there and plays something or sleeps in the crib or something. And nobody really communicated to this child all through the day. And the child is 3 years old and still cannot talk properly. Not many words coming out. See, the thing is, the language development of a child in the early years happens through that interactions. And when that playful interactions are missing, we are taking away that opportunities for the language development of the child. Okay. So to move forward, the second point that I wanted to say is play helps in the social and emotional development of a child. Social and emotional development is critical to human development. And I have to say this with so much of emphasis that so many of us are tempted to believe that formal education is the main driver when it comes to achievement in life. Our degrees and the school they go and the grades they get is what is necessary for a successful life. But that is not true. It's far from true. As a mental health practitioner, I would say that I have worked with too many people with too many degrees, not having the capacity to have a proper life. Okay. So our degrees, it can be from the best university, but it doesn't make you a person who can live your life peacefully and successfulully. And the defining factors, of course, the spiritual side is there. I'm not touching that. It's assumed part for me at this point. But in addition to that, the defining factors for a successful life is emotional and social competence. It's the emotional and social competence of our children that is what is giving a healthy, strong foundation for a good life for our children. And for that to happen, human contact and especially face-to-face contact is essential for that. Okay. And when children don't have the early experience of positive interactions with others, they can struggle socially. Okay. For example, recently I was doing a marriage therapy for a couple. The husband is the top university top person, grade always 100%, everything is top, but don't know how to interact with the spouse and handle the social situations of life. How don't know how to live life with another person. Get my point? So how can I handle things socially? That doesn't come from just formal academics. It is through the human interaction that is happening. Now, every moment of interaction that a child is having with another human being is actually contributing to the development of their brain. Every human interaction that are happening with another human being is contributing to the healthy development of a child's brain. Now, stimulating the human senses through simple age-appropriate play is what is needed to promote proper mind development and body development. And the most important aspect of play when it comes to brain development is the quality and the appropriateness of the activity. The two words I will repeat, that the quality and the appropriateness of the activity. Why this I say this is, it's not the number of toys that is the important things here. Okay, I heard a seminar that play is so important, so tomorrow I go to Amazon and order 10 new toys for our children. You are wrong. That is not what your child needs. It is the quality and the appropriateness of the activity. That is why. So activities or experiences that can help in positive human interaction, that helps in the social development and emotional development of our children is what is needed. And also the activities and experiences should not be overstimulating our children nor understimulating our children. Sometimes we play all these activities that will sing songs, that will ring the bell, that will do all kinds of jumping up and down and all those things. It may be sometimes overstimulating our children. Overstimulating is also not good. Or another example, I would say, now as a parent, you want to make your child laugh and then you start tickling your baby. Okay, it could be a baby or a toddler or a young child, you start tickling. So initially it was fun for the child. Now, after a while, the child is not able to take it anymore. It reached its capacity. And now as a parent who is not careful, they'll keep tickling again. It could be scratching the sole of the feet or tickling the body or something. Now, after a while, when the child is not able to take that, and that becomes overstimulation. This is where as parents, we need to understand whether it is we playing with the child or it is with the toys. It should not be something that overstimulate or understimulate our children. Okay, it is the balance, not too much and not too little. Okay, suppose we are trying to engage the child to run around and hide and seek. So the child is so tired, can't play anything more. Enough, mama, enough, I can't do this today, kind of thing the child is saying. But the parent is saying, no, my child needs to play more, kind of thing. If you are not sensitive, now you are going beyond that balance. Okay, so this is where as parents we have to be careful that I'm doing just enough what is needed for my child with respect to play or stimulation. Now, there is so much of evidence that rich play opportunities given to a younger child actually gives them that capability or that capacity to navigate the challenges of life later. Okay, because they had different opportunities in life to face challenges, to face difficulties, to see different things. So that really helps our children. And not only overall social development or emotional development, as I spoke in the communication aspect, it helps in the emotional healing of our children. Okay, how? Because they are communicating. So they are playing out their problems. They are playing out their experiences, and that brings in self-healing for them. Think about it like this. Don't we feel better when we have a safe source to pour out our pain to somebody? Okay, we met with a friend and sister and talked about our struggles and we prayed together. We feel so much relief. And for children, when there are certain things accumulated inside them, when they play it out and when they release it out, basically that is self-healing for them. Okay, just observe, just use your common sense and observe. Why a lot of young children have mental health problems now much higher than before? Okay, if we look at maybe 20-30 years back, children, when they were upset with a sibling or upset with their parents, just run around and then go around with the neighboring kids and play out for 1 hour, and then they release all their emotions, and then they come back as if nothing has happened. Yeah, nothing has happened. And they are perfectly fine. There was an avenue to play it out, release it out. Now, the same child who had this fight with the sibling and sitting in the corner of the room, not doing anything for the next 1 hour. And these things are just kept repeating. And it is affecting the mental health of our children. So, play, as I said, in the emotional development, not only they are experiencing different emotions and they can express their emotions, but there is also an avenue for their own healings. Okay? Play allows children to make their internal world external. It protects them from emotional overwhelm. So it's really that healing agent for our children. Now, the third thing that I would like to say as the benefit of play is that it's such a great tool for teaching. See, when it comes to children, as responsible parents, committed parents, one of the first things that comes to all of our mind is the need of teaching our children or the need of training. And even you use the verses like train up a child in the way he should go and it will not depart from him. We use all those scriptures, right? Of course, training is very core part of the child development. So whether it is life lessons that happens at home or whether it is school learning, learning from the school, or even whether it is the Sunday school learning on biblical principles, we need to understand that playful environment is a great environment for learning. It's a great tool for teaching. Children learn and remember best when they are taught in an interesting and enjoyable manner. And what else is a better way to make it interesting and enjoyable other than to playful activities? I don't think any of us can come up with any other idea other than through playful activities. What is there to make it interesting and enjoyable for our children? When we make learning fun and enjoyable, actually we are increasing children's motivation to spend time and put the effort in learning. We are increasing their motivation. And the best teachers all around the world have always tried to make learning fun and enjoyable. And when this happens, it affects even the chemical balance in our blood and in our brain, the neurotransmitters that are needed for alertness, for memory is released. That chemical balance is maintained when the environment is enjoyable. Okay, so basically through play, we can make it an enjoyable environment, and thereby it becomes a conducive environment for learning. Okay, so apart from increasing the motivation to learn, the special qualities of play that foster learning, especially in direct teaching, is that this is one of the best way to capture the attention of a child. The toys, the play materials, the colorful things, the different textures, and the novel appearances that are there, basically it captures the attention of a child. Otherwise, it is very difficult for a child to pay attention. Their attention span is very low. So they cannot sit and get the attention fully and listen to something new until we have innovative ways through playful methods to get their attention. So this is where play is a great tool. The second reason why I say play is a great tool is because the sensory input. You remember when I talked in the very beginning about the developmental stages, especially for children until 2 years, all of their learning is happening through sensory input. Now, when we use toys and materials and three-dimensional play objects, what is happening is we are helping in that learning process, and the more information is retained when they are able to see that object. You remember I said they don't have the abstract capacity. Oh, my teacher is talking about this and this concept. They don't have that capacity here. Okay, so they need to see that object. They have that symbolic way of looking at things, and that helps in the learning process. And a range of studies have given reasonable evidence that playing with these objects, using the objects, actually helps in the development of language, maths, and even the spatial skills, spatial awareness. That this is big, this is small kind of thing. That awareness and those skills comes when we engage in the learning through playful activities. The other thing that happens is that play provides a very safe environment. See, usually, ideally, there is no fear, there is no evaluation of, or there is no fear of failure that happens in a safe environment. And in a safe environment, children are more relaxed. Children are more relaxed, and they are willing to take risk, and they are not stressed. And when they are not stressed, they are able to learn more. Another reason is why play is a great tool for teaching, because it gives an active involvement for children. Active learning experiences are more effective than just passively listening to an instruction. So parents, remember this, even if you're teachers or parents, whoever you are, that when we involve our children also in that process, they learn more, they understand the concept more, rather than, okay, you sit there, I need to talk to you, and the parent giving a 30 minutes lecture, it's not going to work out that way. Okay, so that is not the right way to teach our children. And the next is the consolidation of skills. What I mean by that is play gives them the opportunity to do something repeatedly. Children consolidate or get expertise in their skills that they are doing. It's through doing it again and again. For example, a child who is just learning to walk. So he's not, the first time he's trying to walk, he's not best in that. Okay, so he will fall down, he'll try again, then he'll walk again, he'll try again. So basically, play gives such opportunities. Throw the ball again, and when it falls down, then go collect it. Then again throw the ball, then collect it. Then throw the ball again. Basically, what is happening through that play, the child is developing that skill of throwing. Yeah, so play is the opportunity through which children are consolidating their skills. It could be walking, it could be running, it could be throwing, it could be writing, it could be drawing, anything. They are consolidating their skills when they are playing the same thing again and again. Another thing that happens with play is that not only for the direct teaching, play gives indirect teaching opportunities. Maybe some activities that you do, or it could be the stories that you read to them in a playful way. It is giving them teaching opportunities. I remember things where I worked with small children. There was a child who had a big anger issue, huge anger issue, throw out things and things like that. So what when I was working with that child, I used to read a book to that child. And so what I would do is that I would tell the child some other story, another child who had the anger issue, and then he used to throw out this, and then he did this, then he did this. Instead of throwing the things, he did this. So read a storybook. So what we are doing is indirect teaching in a playful way. Or another one is if the child kind of throws tantrums a lot. So just instead of just telling them that no, you cannot throw tantrums, we can do something playful with them. So there was another child that I worked with. Whenever this child gets agitated, I get up with the child and just dance in the room. Okay, so it sounds silly, but we called it as the silly dance. Okay, we just moved around, hold the hands, and just moved around like that. It calmed the child very easily, right? Or if it's a baby and crying and all, just sing a song and just sing a lullaby and rock the child back and forth and just dance movements and things like that. Make it a playful thing. It is really, really helping in calming down the child or learning a lesson or a different ending. Okay, instead of throwing this is what you could do. All of these teaching opportunities are possible through play. Play is the best method for us to do that. So overall, what I want to say is that play gives us a great avenue. It gives us great tools to pay attention to the social development, cognitive development, moral development, emotional development for our children. So moral development, what I mean is that, so two children playing together, taking turns, sharing objects, listen to the other person. How do you handle if you failed in that game? All of that moral development and work is happening through play. So, and also we need to understand that physical activity, whether it's free, whether it's spontaneous, whether it's structured, whether it's unstructured, whether you're playing in the playground, whether you're playing indoor, outdoor, anything, it stimulates biological changes or connections in the brain, resulting in learning and adaptation to novelty. Okay, it has great carryover benefits for health, fitness, and success in school and beyond. And any time we think that we need to cut the physical activity of our child for more academic activity, we are making a big mistake. Of course, they need to do their homework, they need to study, but if you're not giving them enough opportunities and free time for physical activity, we are doing a big mistake. A fit body is needed and a fit brain is needed if you really want to have healthy children. And that is why even, in UK government, when they released their 2023 version of curriculum guidance, the pedagogy, which we call the curriculum guidance for learning, it's such an important part. If you notice, I just copied that snippet of that. It says, effective pedagogy is a mix of different approaches. Children learn through play. If you can see that, this I copied from the UK government website. Okay, so this is very important part. And in the third point, if you see, practitioners carefully organize enabling environments for high quality play. Sometimes they make time and space available for children to invent their own play. Yeah, so this is what that much researched institutions and governments are advising. And at any point, if we parents or the schools of our children are thinking that just study math and science and full-time study, prepare for the exam and that entrance, this thing, and nothing else needed, no recess needed, no PE needed, nothing, that is the biggest mistake. And as parents, you need to become the voice for your children. Yeah. Now, let me quickly move on. The fourth thing that I wanted to share is that play helps in the physical development of our children. I don't need to share that. Okay, you know it, how much it's important, right? See, for our children, we have two kinds of motor skills that are needed. One is the gross motor skills, and the second is the fine motor skills. Gross motor skills means the big movements, movement by our arms, legs, and entire body. That is the gross motor skills. This needs the larger muscles of our body for running and throwing things. And the second is the fine motor skills, the small movements of our body, like grasping a small object and those kind of things. Now, when children don't have physical play, okay, it affects the motor skills development of our children, which means they have even problem with holding the pencil properly. They have even problem with tying their shoelaces because that fine motor skills development is not happening. That comes through play. When they try to open certain things, they try to tie certain things, when they try to pull and push and climb up and down and all of those things, what is actually happening is that gross motor skills and fine motor skills development is what is happening needed for their life. And it is not just about the physical capacity. And what research has shown is that a child who don't have that kind of a balance in their physical skills, gross motor skills and fine, it even affects their concentration, it affects the reading capacity, it affects the writing capacity. Children who don't have good fine motor skills, they cannot write fast. And you can't just give them 10 papers and say that write fast, write fast. No, it comes through playful different activities. So it is not just about, okay, physically height, weight kind of thing. It has much more to that. Much more than, and not only that, what is found out in another research is that the connection between physical activity and academic achievement, children who have good amount of physical activity, their mood is better, their achievement in mathematics and reading especially is better. Okay, so these are well researched topics that I just touch base and move forward. And the next thing that I wanted to say is that, of course, as you understood, if they can communicate, it helps in emotional healing, social skills, learning moral things, and all of those things. So thus, it helps in a good mental health for our children. In addition to all the things which I have mentioned so far, now how play improves the mental health is that when a child is playing, it releases a lot of positive emotions. They are laughing and smiling. There is excitement, there is interest, there is delight out there for the child. Now, studies have confirmed that children at play exhibit more positive affect expressions than those children who don't play much. You get it? So children who play more have positive mood, positive affects, positive expressions than children who do not play. Now, in addition to contributing to an overall sense of happiness, it is believed that positive emotions have healing capacity. A positive emotional experience can be that healing force that precipitates the change for good, or something that offsets something negative or the pessimistic things that happen. So it really helps. The positive emotions really help the children. Now, Sutton Smith is an author, and I have put the picture of the book here. The name of the book is The Ambiguity of Play. According to Sutton Smith, who is a developmental psychologist and play theorist, he claims that the opposite of play is not work, but depression. Okay, so don't think that a child who is not playing means, okay, he is doing too much work. A child who is not playing means you can expect a child who gets depression. And this reveals how high the stakes are for brain development and learning. Play is such a highly important thing. So it releases positive emotions. It helps in emotional healing. Even it helps in stress management. Okay. One of the reasons for the stress management is because it releases the endorphins, which are good hormones. So it really helps the children in the stress management. Erik Erikson, who is the famous psychologist, he says this: to play it out is the most natural self-healing measure childhood offers. To play it out is the most natural self-healing measure childhood offers, right? So play is an important antidote to the stress that our children go through. It releases hormones that are good hormones that are good in improving their mental health. Not only through that, when they are engaged, especially small children, when they are touching and playing with sensory materials, water, clay, sand, paint, beanbags, those kind of things, basically they are self-soothing. If you notice some children, sometimes they may be sucking their thumb. Or if you notice some children, they may have one particular toy that they are holding on, soft toy. Or there may be one particular blanket that they always want with them. Kind of thing. Those are self-soothing things for them, self-soothing materials for them. And self-soothing materials really helps children. Because why? There is so much of things happening through the sensory gateways for our children. So, see, in the olden days, our parents allowed us to play with the sand and the mud and the water and all of those things. Now, when we have good houses and good couches and carpets and all of those things, we don't want any of those things to get dirty. So, we don't want our children to touch any of these things or play with any of those things. I understand there needs to be a balance. Even I don't want my house to be dirty, but we need to find other avenues how my children can mess up with these dirty things. Okay? If you don't want that to happen at home, take them out to the playground and let them just play with the mud. And mothers, I would say, when you take coconuts and have coconut shells, collect it and take it out with your children and play in the mud with that. Play in the sand with that. It is the best gift that you can give to your children than buying a highly expensive toy. Okay, sometimes get into the bathroom or in the bathtub and just splash water on each other and play in the bucket of water for a while. That is the best playing, self-soothing thing that can happen to our children. Okay, so there is an impact of all these things that are happening. Okay, now I also wanted to show this quote to you, the famous Dr. Daniel Amen, who has done thousands and thousands of brain scans of people. He says, physical exercise, including free play, acts like a natural wonder drug for the brain. It improves the heart's ability to pump blood. It burns fat. It enhances overall brain function. It encourages the growth of new brain cells. It enhances cognitive ability. It helps alleviate depression. It calms anxiety. It helps prevent disease and dementia. Okay, you can read more about in his book, Change Your Brain, Change Your Body. Okay? So these things which I'm talking about, the importance of play, has more benefits than we could see with our eyes. Okay, so many times the problem that we have as parents is that we don't see what is there. You're just sitting and playing, they're wasting time, go study, right? That's what we shout to our children. But of course they need to study, don't misunderstand me, but where is the balance in all of these things? I will tell you this thing. A child who gets 99% in their academics and no social connection, no fun time, no emotional capacity, that child is in a higher dangerous place that compared to a child who is only getting 60%, but he's having fun, can relate to people, can socially connect. That second child is at a better place. This is something, the summary that we need to understand. And in our competing world, we have thought that it's all about academics. It's wrong. It's wrong. I just want to underline that and say that. It's wrong. And we need to come back to that holistic development of our children. Their spiritual development, their emotional development, their social development, their academic development, all of that are important. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to say is that play builds relationships. Okay, I told about the positive emotions that are released by in play, and I don't need to say it. You know it. What I'm saying, that when two people are playing together and there is a positive emotion there, it becomes the gel that connects those two people. Right? Isn't that true? It is that pleasure bond between two people and strengthening that relationship. So when an adult is fun to be with, children view them as more trustworthy, more caring, more approachable. See, many parents want a good relationship with their children, but don't have time to play with our children. Okay? And by smiling and laughing through play, adults signal to the child that they are friendly, they are safe to be around. That excitement that is sparked by play actually energizes the relationship. Not just with parents, with any adults, child, neighbor, aunt, uncle, cousin. When you play together, have fun together, have positive emotions together, it really helps in that attachment. Okay. Some examples of attachment play is that it's a very one which we use it with our very young children. It's called peekaboo. right? All of us must have played that. We say, "Boo-boo, peekaboo," and then the child baby smiles and laughs and giggles, and then we do it again, peekaboo, kind of thing. Actually, what is happening? There is so much of positive emotion released with that game, and it is resulting in that attachment with our adults. Okay, so these are very important things. The another game, if you know it, is that we played with children. It's called horsey. We call, horsey, which means the father or the mother gets down on the hands and knees, becomes like an animal, or I am the donkey or I am the horse, and the child climbs on the back and gives and walks around, and there is a lot of smiling and laughing that is going around. Actually, again, here positive emotions and building the relationship with the child. And these things, as I said, you think, oh, I was just sitting there laughing there. We say with that statement and over. But I tell you, a lot of positive things happened in the brain of your child in that moment. Lot of positive, the brain wiring and the release of hormones, and lot of good things happened when we had that moments with our children. Okay, now not only with parents, as I said, for social bonding, for community building, play is a great thing. It helps in that bonding effect. And the last thing that I wanted to say about play was it promotes resilience. It promotes resilience in our children. Why? When they play, definitely they are going to experience a lot of obstacles, and they have to solve the problem. They are trying to put together a Lego thing. Okay, they will find that, oh, that piece is missing. Oh, this is big, this is small. I can't touch this, I can't touch that. A lot of things come, and they try to figure out and solve the problem. Or they try to draw something and find that this is not matching, this color doesn't match. Then they think what other thing can be used. So basically, problem solving, flexibility, dealing with the unexpected, all of those things happen in play. And in the book Free to Learn by Dr. Peter Gray, he says that childhood should be an opportunity to learn to be independent and responsible, solve our own problems, and make decisions. And play is nature's way of ensuring that children practice the skills that are important for them to develop. Yeah. So when they face obstacles, when they face difficulties, when there are unexpected endings to what they were planning, we are developing resilience in them, how to bounce back after something that didn't happen in the way they expected. Yeah. So there are too many more things that I could talk about the benefits of play and why play is needed, but I will just limit it to those 7. And I know it's time for Q&A right now, but let me take 2, 3, 4 minutes more and just touch base 1 or 2 more things there. Now, what happens to a child who is deprived to play? Everything, the importance that I said is going to be the negative side. Just put together that, fill the blanks there. Motor development, physical health, social skills, emotional development, all of that gets affected for our children is something that we need to understand. Okay. No, I'm not going much there. There were so many studies done with prisoners, jail participants who did major things done, and one of the common thing that is found that these children did not have a good childhood where they had fun, they had enjoyable childhood, or they played well. That is something that is a common thing that was found out in many researches. And the other thing that many of you may be thinking is that in this digital age, is digital play okay? Can it replace the traditional play? I'll give you a few tips quickly to look at that and say this. See, when we say the effects of play, the few things checklist is 1, it should be something that is active. It allows the children to move their bodies. Active body, active mind is something that I would say. The second is it should be something engaging them, something that keeps them focused. Third is something that could help in social interaction. And the fourth is something that gives them growth opportunities, like the consolidation of skills. Do something again and again and again so that they have a skill development coming up through that. And the next one is something that helps in positive emotions. Now, I wouldn't say that all digital play is bad. I wouldn't say that. There may be exceptions out there. But if you ask me what is the choice there, I would say traditional play, physical play is the better choice. Is the better choice. But there in COVID seasons and other environments and in the current digital age, yes, there are tools and apps that can be used. But as parents, what you can do is that, is it helping my child to be active? Okay, at least mind's active. If they are just scrolling and just touching, not thinking, using their mind at all, it's not good for your child at all. So ideally, if the body and mind can be active, that is the best solution. If the body is not active for a short time of digital play, at least the mind should be something that is active, should be something that is helping them. And recently there was a book by Susan Greenfield. She says that digital environments are overstimulating the brain, causing the young child to suffer from an overload of information and raising challenges in the attention skills of our children. Yeah, so this is something parents have to be careful. Little bit of digital play is not bad, it's not sinful, it's not killing your child, but you have to be careful. Have to be careful that it's restricted time, it's helping your child, and make sure that they get enough sunlight. And just sitting at home and just only doing digital play, they are not getting even the vitamin D that is needed. It is affecting their physical development. Is it making them to be obese? Are they connecting to the nature? Are they getting enough opportunities to connect with other children? Is it age appropriate play? Is it overstimulating them? These are few questions that parents can keep asking as children engage in digital play. To summarize, I would say that play is the best gift that God has given to children to unlock their potential for their social development, emotional development, cognitive and symbolic, linguistic, and physical development. For all their aspects, play is essential. So don't underestimate the need of play for a healthy brain development or a healthy child development. Yeah, so because it's time, I will leave it here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful session and helping us understand the benefits of play. We've got a lot of questions, so can we right away go into
Yes.
it? Yeah, so I'll read out the question, the order in which I got them, so that so that those who send the questions so early on gets covered. So the first question is, my children are already older. One is a teenager, another is a preteen. I focused more on academics. Now I realize it's a mistake, but what to do now? At this age, is play still important? Please help.
Yeah, my answer is that play is necessary and essential when the children are younger, especially when you remember the developmental stages that I showed you. Before the age of 12, it is necessary part. It's not an optional part at all. Okay, it's a necessary part of their childhood development. Now, since they have come this far, we need to be careful to slowly introduce the concept of play. You have to venture it very carefully. For example, as a parent, you can say that once in a while, oh, I found this game interesting. I was wondering whether you would be interested to play with me. Or how about we buy a board, this card games, and we start playing this, or anything of that sort, instead of forcing them at this teenage. Then, oh, you need to get out, you need to play, you can't be sitting here. And don't take an abrupt or forced approach at this point. You need to gently, prayerfully bring in tiny changes into the home, that as a home you are making changes so that play is introduced. As I told you, I am playing, my husband and I are playing more than we ever played in the last several years. So as we are learning, we are bringing in that changes in our home. So what my probable older child missed, what we are doing more with our younger child in terms of play. So do what you can. There is no point in living in guilt and shame. Bring in small changes. But as a parent, you being willing to change yourself rather than imposing something on your child.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Yeah, thank you. Another question is, my child is 5 years old. In school, he does not talk and he doesn't want to play with other children. But academic wise, if class teacher asks anything specifically, he will just say the answer and then keep quiet. Due to this, he is not even telling the teacher that he wants to use the washroom. How can I train him? And there's a similar question about a child. Is there anything to be concerned if a child likes to play only by herself, not interested to play with other kids, age 3.5 years?
Yeah, the first one I would say that here again the parent can start slowly. So what the parent can do is that the parent can create a play environment, a play area in your own home and get some things inside the house to play and say and invite the child to play. Invite the child to play into that space, or maybe even you can take the child out, go to the playground and start playing there. You can take the child to a park and play in the mud, and as a parent you can sit with the child and play with that child, or plan play dates with other families and create opportunities for your child to play. Again, slowly. Any changes that you're bringing, which were not happening before, it has to be a slow process, careful process, intentional process. But the first case, engage your child. I would say if the child is not socially engaging, if the child is not talking, it is something that you need to start acting very soon. Play is the best place to start. The best place to start. Don't get worried, but if you're intentional now, in the next 5 years, you will get a different child. In the sense, somebody who is social and active and playful, you will get that child, but as a parent, you be intentional. And in the second case, solo play is good. There is nothing wrong. Solo play has a place there. But maybe sometimes what you can do is that you can also go beside and start solo play by yourself. Okay. And then after a few days or few weeks of parallel play, you can just invite the child and say, do you want to share your house with me, or should we play together in our house together? Or see, I made this curry today. Do you want to share my curry and just play with the child? Okay. So all in the playful environment I'm talking. So start with solo play parallel with your solo playing child. And after a while, invite your child to play with you.
Oh, yeah, that seems really a practical way to do it. Thank you. The next question is, does homeschooling children affect the child's development in any way, provided we provide social interaction and prioritize playing time as well?
In my personal opinion, homeschooling environment where there is enough social interactions and playful opportunities is a better environment than a school environment. That's my personal opinion. So the only concern whenever we had about homeschooling is whether our children are getting enough social interaction opportunities. If that is taken care, homeschooling is a good way to take care of our children.
Okay. The next question is, I have a twin boy and girl. Both are interested in playing and book reading. They are 1 year, 5 months now. They're very small. So usually both are interested in the same toy, and the girl child can't control her frustration of getting the toy, so she tries to bite her brother. How to modify this behavior? Usually this happens when they play indoor.
Okay. Yeah, it's little tough, but I think you can also try with some other toys and giving a different toy to your child and saying or saying that baby is happy, mommy is happy, look at this. And when you share the toy and baby is happy and you are also happy when we share the toy. How about mama shows time? 5 minutes you play, then 5 minutes baby play, or something like that. Try different strategies. And then show the emotions as well. When you bite the baby, mama is not happy. Okay. But when you share the toy, it's good, very good, very good, very good. So come to that child level and try innovative methods, how you can help the child in teaching the sharing of toys. Or maybe you can say, teach intentionally, like now, first the baby boy has this, and then you give another toy to your child, and when after a while you exchange the toy and try different methods. So something of that practical methods you have to try to teach this child about sharing. This is a great teaching opportunity.
Okay, there's a similar question. My 3-year-old child fights a lot for toys whenever she plays with other children. How should I respond to this? Is this normal behavior? Until what age is this okay?
Mhm. Yeah, it's normal for children to ask for what they like and wanting to have that toy, and it's okay. But I would say that our aim is not to make our children happy all the time. Our aim is to develop healthy adults in the long term. So keep the long term in mind rather than just focusing on the short term happiness of our child. And sometimes, even if they are crying and upset, that is okay. Just take your child away from that place and say that Mama knows you are upset. You are upset. You didn't get the toy, right? You're sad, right? Yeah. Just say sad. You are sad that you didn't get the toy. Okay, let's think about what we can do now. When you're sad, what is that you can do? So things like that. It's okay to be sad. It's okay that you are disappointed. And we don't have to protect our children from all frustrations and disappointments. Only thing is that we teach them how to communicate that and how to handle that. That's all we need to do.
I think that's really helpful. Yeah. There's another question. My son is 12 years old, but what to do if he doesn't want to stop playing with toys that are for small children? There's a similar question. How do we know that our children are emotionally developing according to their age?
There is no prescribed way to find that, okay, reached, other than for height and weight and those kind of things, there is no way you can say that they reached a level. At least I would say that if they are growing, that is, they are changing, they are growing in their capacity. That's all we need to see. And with respect to the emotional development, I would say that it's a lifelong journey. Aren't we all still learning how to handle our emotions? So there is no time when we are fully graduated in that course. Just take every opportunity to teach and help our children. That's all. So emotionally healthy parenting means we understand their emotions, we show empathy to their emotions, and when they are regulated, when they are calm, we teach them how to handle their emotions in a better way. So that's all we need to do. Okay, if I repeat this, so we just need to do emotionally healthy parenting. That's all we need to do, which means we understand their emotions, we name their emotions, we show empathy to their emotions, and help them calm down in the beginning. When they are calm, we teach them how to handle the situations in a different way. Not teaching, if you don't do the teaching when they are emotionally dysregulated. When they are shouting, when they are yelling, when they are biting their sibling, that is not the time to do the teaching. Okay? The first thing is the safety of your children and to calm down your children. After they calm down, you talk to your children. Because when they are dysregulated, they don't have the capacity to take in the learning.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. What about the 12-year child who still wants to play with small children?
12-year child who still likes to play with small things, I think it's okay. We don't have to make it a big deal. Also, provide age-appropriate opportunities for the child as well. If the child still wants to hold on to that particular toy or play that toy, it's okay. See, I know teenagers and young adults who still hold on to their favorite soft toy from their elementary school. I don't see that as a big problem out there, but introduce age-appropriate opportunities, like arrange play dates with other 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old kids, arrange soccer games or basketball games or other board games at home and chess and caroms and all those things. Take initiative to gently introduce your child to different other things.
Right. Yeah. And there are two questions. The questions are exactly the same, but the child's age is different. Two mothers have asked, my 9-year-old daughter wants to play all the time, doesn't like to study or write much. How to handle this? Another mother says, my 5-year-old son wants to play all the time. How to get him interested to study and write at least little bit. So one is 5-year-old boy, other is 9-year-old girl. Same question.
Probably because, as I said, you remember, they want to stay with something fun and enjoyable, and the learning time is very boring, and they are not motivated to learn. If the child is 5 years old, as a parent, you can find some interesting, enjoyable ways to engage in their academics. For example, if it is about teaching them maths and addition, how about you draw, the hopscotch game kind of thing, where you draw with a chalk on the floor, and then you jump 2 steps and then jump another 2 steps. Oh, where did we reach? We reached 4. Now you get it, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So maybe as a parent, you can also research a little bit and see that how can I find playful, enjoyable ways of doing these mathematics. Or if it's about learning the alphabets, singing the ABCD, rhyming songs and all of those things. Or maybe after doing every homework page of writing, there is some kind of dancing and rhyming and singing and all of those things going on in the house, and some kind of celebration. So if the study time is too boring, too hard, not at all motivated to do that, for the small children, especially below 10, parents sometimes need to make it creative, that it's enjoyable and fun for them.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a really practical and helpful tip. We are getting a lot of questions. I'll just now choose a few. I have 3 kids. 2 are very social and great communicators, but one is more introverted. He's shy in social settings, but plays well with his siblings at home and enjoys reading. He's also very emotional. How can I tell whether his social hesitation is just his temperament or if it is due to a lack of play opportunities? And how can I support his social growth without forcing him into uncomfortable situations?
See, the temperament can be different for each children. Extrovert, introvert children are real. Just because this one child is different from your all other 3 children, you don't have to see that as a problem. You don't have to. Just accept the uniqueness of your child. Each child is uniquely gifted by God. Just accept that uniqueness. So if the child doesn't have language problems or connecting to familiar people, you don't need to worry so much in that situation. If the child is completely avoidant of any social interactions at all, even with siblings, even with close friends, even with cousins who comes frequently, then only we need to have some concern. But if the child is just not extroverted, but once the child gets familiar and the child connects to people, then it's okay, nothing to be worried. So we usually say that some children are like popcorns, they just jump and jump from one activity to another activity kind of thing. So some children are like orchids, that once in a while they bloom just like that, then it's dormant for a while, then kind of bloom kind of thing. Some children are like this molasses or honey, once they stick on to one play activity, it is very difficult to move them to another play activity. So children are different. Don't expect all our children to be playing exactly the same. It's okay. It's okay if they are not highly extroverted.
Yeah, I think those analogies are really helpful to understand the difference in children. One more question. My son is a single child, 11.5 years. He's hyperactive, always wants to have only physical activity, playing outdoors, sometimes indoors, roaming, playing musical instruments, worshipping, etc. Too difficult to make him sit and learn, struggling even to show an interest in the learning division, though I'm a college professor. Kindly guide. Also, a comment, your session was too good, praise God. So,
yeah, so I'm not sure whether this child has ADD. I'm not sure. Or is it just an active kid? Because from your word, the child is hyperactive. Hyperactive, I don't know to what extent he is hyperactive. So sometimes the hyperactivity could be due to the ADD nature, or otherwise it is just that the child is a very active child. So what you can do is that you can also try some kind of reward mechanisms that, okay, How about you study for 30 minutes and finish your homework, then you can go out and play for an hour, kind of thing. Uh, if you don't do your homework and sit and study for 30 minutes or finish your homework, then you don't get to go out today. So that may be one way you can try that, because he likes outdoor time and play time. Probably if that is given as a reward, he wants to get that and he might do something to get his reward. That could be one approach that you could take. Yeah. Just try that out and see. And I would say that if he is averagely okay in the academics, don't worry about it. As I said earlier, a child who is socially competent, emotionally competent, and physically healthy, and academically doing not bad at all, a parent don't need to worry. This is where we have to settle down. We have to come out of our anxiety here that when everybody is getting 90s and A plus, and my friend got that, my sister's daughter got that, the church child got admission there, this thing. Please come out. This is the pattern of the world. This is from where we need to come out. Every child is unique. To see a healthy, holistic child, spiritually healthy, emotionally healthy, socially healthy, academically moving forward child should be our aim, rather than a child who is that program, this event, that tuition, this tuition. This is totally the pattern of the world, and as God's people, we need to be careful that we don't get into that mood.
Absolutely. Wow, that's a really important answer for us to consider. Ma'am, just one last question, because a couple of people have asked, like these days we see children more angry. Can you suggest some tips to help them to learn to control their anger? That's the last question. Sorry for the questions I skipped.
No, I think I wouldn't say that you should control the anger of your child. This is not the answer that you're expecting from me, but this shows that your child has a concern, and probably you're not giving a voice to your child. Probably, which means your child is unique. Your child has a voice. Your child has an opinion. And I wonder whether sometimes as adults we are dominating too much over our children. That daddy said so, mama said so, just do it. That kind of an approach, it's only going to create so much more anger in our children. And if they don't express their anger, I'll tell you, anger, when they are expressing outside, we find it difficult to take it. And if your child is not expressing their anger, you can expect a depressed child. What is that you want is something we have to choose. Okay, the anger taken inside will implode inside. Anger taken outside will explode outside. Okay, so what we need is that sit down with our child. I see that you are angry. Can we talk about it? Okay, if there are enough opportunities to give a voice to that child and what is bothering that child, slowly the expressions of anger will come down. There is accumulated emotions which are not released properly, penting up in that child. That is why too much of anger issues are coming out
there. Yes, I think that is a great thing for all parents to consider. Thank you so much, Sajitha ma'am, for teaching us and also sharing your wisdom over these questions and answers. I think every answer was really beneficial, and I hope those who have asked the questions have got their answers, and I hope and pray that this teaching and the Q&A session will be a blessing to many more as it is uploaded in the channel. Please visit the YouTube channel as well if you want to visit again the session and learn more from it. So thank you once again, ma'am, and we hope to have you sometime again later, because I personally have experienced the blessing of being her student. So I hope that many others will also be blessed, and may God really bless the ministry that you are doing and helping so many people across the world.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So quickly, I will just share about the next session we will have in March. This was also a topic that a few parents had asked. So this will also be on the third Sunday of March. That's March 16th. 5 to 6:30 p.m. And the topic will be when your child drifts from faith. As a parent, as a Christian parent, what to do when your child does not follow the faith that you've followed or starts drifting away from what you've taught them. So it's, I think, a very important topic to consider in today's day and age. Brother Joy John, who's a professor at Asian Christian Academy in Bangalore, he'll be teaching us. And we invite all parents to please mark your calendar. I know it's exam season, but please be there for this session to learn more. And if you're interested to contact us, the Mom Focus Ministry, you can WhatsApp to this number, 9447795836. This is Shiva Sam's number. You can also send us an email, momfocus2020@gmail.com, with your suggestions, your queries, any recommendations you have, any topics you want us to cover, or you want to partner with us in any way, please send an email. Most of you know about our YouTube channel, Mom Focus. We upload every session that we have and some extra content on our YouTube channel. So please subscribe and make use of all the content. I think we have more than 50 videos already there. We are also active on Facebook and Instagram. If you are active on social media, you please visit these as well and make use of the opportunity. If any of you need personal counseling, individual or family counseling, you can WhatsApp on this number, 8978306903. This is my number. You can send a WhatsApp message on this number if you need counseling help. Thank you once again to all of you for joining and staying with us, though we have exceeded a few minutes, but I'm sure that we have learned a lot today and it will be practically helpful for us. May the Lord help us to practice these in our day-to-day life. So let us close with a word of prayer. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for helping us today to learn about the importance of play in children. And Lord, we thank you for helping Sajitha ma'am to spare her time amidst her very busy schedule for us to teach us, Lord. Thank you that we learned and we could receive words of wisdom from her. Lord, we pray that you will help us intentionally take practical steps in our families with regard to our children as parents to implement some of the things that we have learned. Thank you, Lord, for reminding us once again that our children are unique, each one of them. Help us, Lord, not to follow the patterns of the world as we heard, but follow the pattern that you want us and appreciate and celebrate the uniqueness of each child you have given us. Thank you, Lord, once again for this time. Till we meet again, be with us, help us, guide us, and guard us. We ask and pray in Jesus' precious name. Amen.